What's up, guys? How we going? So next week we know it's UFC 301 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and a Benny P MMA interview alumni Steve Erceg is fighting for the UFC Flyweight Championship, and he's going to be taking on Alexandro Pantoja. Now, I love this fight. Now, a lot of people are saying, what a bad fight. Like, is this really going to be a main event? I have not been more excited for a fight. Like, I'm more excited for this main event than I was for Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. I was more excited for this than Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. Like, I just really, really want to see this fight. I'm super excited for it. Obviously, been a big Steve Erceg fan for years. Watched him on the come up. So I know everything about this guy. I know about his kickboxing fights. I know about his wrestling credentials, his jiu-jitsu. And I've also watched a lot of Pantoja over the years, obviously. I've seen his rise, his come up. I've seen him lose to Askar Askarov and then, make his way back up the rankings, beat Manel Kate, beat all these guys. And, Pantoja, he's a great fighter. I'd love to fight him. That was more Irish. That wasn't Tom Aspinall, but you guys get the point. He's a great fighter. He's a great fighter to watch. He's very good. But this all plays in. His fight style really does play into Steve Erceg's skill set. Now, a lot of people are acting like, well, Steve Erceg's not really like that powerful. He knocked out Matt Schnell. Yes, he knocked out Matt Schnell, who is extremely chinny. There is no denying that Matt Schnell isn't, he's not fucking Max Holloway out there. He's not going to take every clean shot on the chin. But there's things that people are not realizing. When Matt Schnell gets chinned, he's being woken back up by shots. Like, Nicolau drops him once and then he gets back up. Sumadurgi tries to knock him out. He knocks him down so many times, but he gets back up. So he shows, he recovers quickly. But Steve Erceg is like the only person to like properly fucking flatline Matt Schnell. I think Pantoja probably actually comes closest. Pantoja hits hard, but striking wise, Steve Erceg's not going out there and fucking putting all of his power into these shots. He's very technical, very fluid. Fights very, very straight punches. His punches are very straight in there. It looks effortless when he goes out there and knocks people out. I know he's only got 2 knockouts. Some people are saying that was his first knockout. He knocked out Paul Loger as well. He flatlined him with a left hook. Like, literally knocked him out, and then he got back up quickly and fucking fell back down. Like, he really does have some pop in his shots. And if you look at Paul Loger, yeah, he's been knocked out a few times, but the guys he's fighting, like, he's fighting bantamweights who can't just go in there and flatline him. And Steve Erceg is literally going in there and flatlining Matt cold. He knocked down David Dvorak. He rocked Alexandro Costa. In all of his fights, he's pretty much rocked and hurt every single person except for Cody Haddon and Sean Gauchi. But, like, the thing that also factors into this, he's not primarily a striker. That's something that people don't realize. Steve Erceg, in all of his matchups he's had, and this is going to be crazy because he's won it, he's literally been fighting nightmare matchups for him. I know that sounds crazy. People are going to say you're coping. But Alexandro Costa, what is the best part of his game? He's a big, strong guy, anti-grappling, very good anti-grappling. He's not a guy you can go in there and take down and go in there and sub immediately. You got to sort of strike with him. And Steve Erceg's going in there and winning these fights with his secondary option. Yes, he's a great striker. He's got good boxing. He is a very good striker. But grappling is how he wins these fights. Modified guillotines, rear naked chokes, arm bars. Like, he's got a lot of fucking submissions. Let's just go through his record. This guy, this is something that people don't realize about it because of the guys he's fighting. David Dvorak, what is his best trait? Anti-wrestling, his takedown defense. I thought that David Dvorak could have gave Tatsuro Taira a generally hard fight if they would have fought, because his anti-grappling is so good. He never gets taken down. He does get rocked, but his takedown defense is solid. He's a good striker. And Steve Erceg went in there and beat him at his own game. Now, let's look. He's got arm triangles, rear nakeds, just a choke, just a submission. Doesn't say how he won his Gamma fights. And, yes, he lost to Dennis Bondar, but that was the Gamma Games, he'd literally fought three other times that fucking day. Like, he had fought a lot that fucking day. You know, who knows what type of fights he had there. They could have been tough fights. So yeah, you're going to be a bit tired and gassed out. But he fought 4 times in one day and fought Dennis Bonder, who, yeah, Dennis Bonder didn't have a great UFC tenure, but that's still fucking, you know, he went and beat all these good guys on the same day and then had to fight Dennis Bonder. If you do that fight with them not having fought 3 times before, who knows, Dennis Bonder could have got easy matchups and Steve Erceg could have got tough matchups. Like literally all the guys he fought were 0-0, 1-1. He beat 1 7-1 guy, but Steve Erceg, he was fighting 14-1, 0-0, yeah, but 7-2. Like, he was fighting better guys on that day, so he would have probably had the tougher fights. I know that sounds like cope, but still, hear me out. But then, like I say, looking at the fights, like David Dvorak, good anti-grappler. Alexander Costa, good anti-grappler. Even Smash Snell's got some pretty good takedown defense, but, you know, that's going to play into his striking. But we're only seeing Steve Erceg strike in these fights, but he is a hell of a fucking grappler. He was out-grappling Sung Guk Choi, who went to the finals of the Road to UFC. You know, he was out-grappling Sean Gauchi in the 3rd round of their fight, who was a very good fighter, who I think is also going to be in the UFC very soon. And that was a very close fight as well. Like, that was a fight that could have gone either way. Knocks out Paul Loga, then drops him and then mounted guillotines him. He out-wrestles Cody Haddon, who's a fucking hell of a prospect at bantamweight. This is a guy who's going to be in the UFC. He was 2-0 when Steve Erceg beat him. He's now 6-1. He's a fucking hell of a guy. Great boxer, much better striker than Pantoja. I know that's crazy to say, but he's a much better striker than Pantoja. More powerful, I'd say. And, you know, he couldn't finish him. He dropped and then subbed Shannon Ross. But yeah, like, he is a very good fucking grappler, guys. Like, you guys don't realize this. But let's just talk about Alexander Pantoja in this fight. What does Pantoja have a problem with in his fights? He gasses. He runs out there swinging big shots. But the thing is, yes, Steve Erceg might not appear to have the best head movement, but he does move out of his way a lot. I can see him moving back, pull back counter, just hurting Pantoja. Do I think he's going to go in there and just knock him out cold? Not particularly. Pantoja's got really good chin. But looking at this fight, I think Steve Erceg has a lot of the skills that can really hurt a guy like Alexander Pantoja. He's taller. I think that opens him up for uppercuts that he can land on a much smaller man like Pantoja. And we've seen Pantoja does struggle with uppercuts. Against Davison Figueiredo, he was getting uppercutted. We've noticed he can't do with those upward elbows, especially, like, you know, as soon as he drops his guard, he gets elbowed. And Figueiredo really exploited that in their fight. Like, he was beating the fuck out of him with elbows, uppercuts. And since that fight, nobody has tried to use that against him. I don't understand why nobody's ever tried to do that to Pantoja since. But, you know, Figueiredo is very powerful and he's beating the fuck out of him. And Matt Schnell, you know, common opponent for both of them. I know MMA math doesn't work, but Pantoja got rocked a lot worse than Steve Erceg did against Matt Schnell. He got hurt badly. I feel like that's just a good way to show, like, the recklessness of Pantoja. Like, Pantoja gets very reckless out there and he gasses because he goes out there fighting crazy. But I think that Steve Erceg has the ability to do what an Askar Askarov did, which is get the back and take the back in scrambles, get back positions. Maybe not sub him, but just be able to hold him there, punch him out a bit, get his breath back. Like, this is going to be a fucking war, I feel like. I feel like we're going to see Pantoja very aggressive. But I think it's going to be to his detriment. I think he's going to come out too aggressive and he's going to get rocked a lot in this fight. I think Steve Erceg can hurt him. I think he can drop him. I don't think he can knock him out cold. Maybe TKO him to ground and pound. But, like, Pantoja, yeah, he's got a good chin, but he's a flyweight. And another thing I haven't even mentioned yet, he's a 34-year-old flyweight. Age matters a lot more at flyweight than these other divisions, in my opinion. It's the lowest weight class. You have to be skilled. You have to be quick. But Pantoja is getting older and older. Steve Erceg's 28 years old. He's much younger. 6-year age difference. And I think Steve Erceg's going to get this one done, man. He's younger. He's a big guy for the weight class. Maybe not thickness-wise, but, like, height-wise, he's going to be big. So while he might not appear to be the most, like, you know, bulky dude, you know, there's the Michael Scott memes, he is still a big guy compared to Pantoja. Pantoja's 5'5", knees up the middle are going to be there. If Pantoja is gassed and he's shooting, I can see Steve Erceg catching him with knees. Even just like scrambling and even taking Pantoja down himself. I can see Erceg taking down a gassed out Pantoja, and Pantoja being so tired he can't even do anything. One thing Pantoja has going for him, he's very gritty. He fights like a Chad. He tries to chat his way to victory, but I just think Erceg is going to be catching him, and the recklessness is really going to hurt Pantoja. And then on the opposite end, Pantoja comes out there very tentative. That's also good for Erceg, because Erceg can go out there and he can just play the tic-tac game where he can just keep jabbing, hurting Pantoja, kick him to the body, kick up his leg, fight from range, because he does have a slight reach advantage, nothing crazy. I think it's like half an inch, but giving him a reach advantage is just going to benefit Steve Erceg so much. I just think this is a great stylistic matchup for Steve Erceg. Yes, Pantoja is the man. He is a great fighter, but I think it's the Steve Erceg era. Now, maybe I'm a biased Australian. Maybe I'm biased because I interviewed Erceg, but I really do think this is just a fucking amazing stylistic matchup for him. He's a much better striker. Yeah, Pantoja is going to have like the strength advantage, I feel like. Yes, he's got good jiu-jitsu, but I think these two have pretty good jiu-jitsu, but I think Pantoja's wrestling is probably a bit better, getting the fight to the ground. But once you're gassed out, defending those takedowns are going to be a lot harder. And that also, if Pantoja's using everything to defend those takedowns, that opens up the striking on the feet a bit more. He might be worried. He's going to be gassed. He's going to gas out the laxative acid in his arms is going to build up a lot more if he's going to have to try and defend takedowns while getting punched in the face. I think Steve Erceg gets this fight done. I'm going to say by decision. First round could be tricky. Pantoja's going to come out aggressive. He's going to come out throwing big bombs. Maybe Erceg gets hit with a few. Maybe he gets hurt. But he has shown to have a really good chin. Just like in general, like all of his fights, he gets hit with big shots. But he always comes through. He always takes them. Not a good thing to do fighting all the time. But, he does seem to have a good chin. He has a high guard, good boxing. And I think we're going to see a new champion. I think Anu. Now, maybe his reign won't be long. Maybe they're going to try and fucking kill him if he wins in Brazil, because they're fucking crazy. They might literally try and kill Steve Erceg. But I think at the very least, we're going to hear Anu. Maybe there'll be a fucking riot and we won't even get to hear that. But I think when all is said and done, it's going to be Steve Erceg defeats Alexander Pantoja. It's going to be a big upset. And I think Steve Erceg's going to shock the world, and we're going to get our third Australian UFC champion. Now, could I be wrong here? Absolutely. But I really just can't look at this fight, and I'm looking at this objectively, no biased. I can't see this fight not going to Steve Erceg. I just feel like on paper, it's just such a good matchup for him. That's my arm on the table, by the way. I didn't let one rip. But I really do think Steve Erceg's going to get this one done. Good striking, much better striking than Pantoja. He might try and brawl though. That's the thing. If Pantoja seems to have a real you're going to brawl with me. You're going to brawl with Pantoja. He's got some fucking hypnotic thing. It's sort of like Neil Magny making people clinch with him when you just shouldn't fucking clinch with Neil Magny. He's got some weird ability to it. He had fucking Matt Schnell going in the fucking pocket with him brawling, and Matt Schnell did hurt him in the pocket, really badly, but I don't think Steve Erceg should try and brawl with him. I think his best game is just to play his long-rangey game. Even if he does get in the pocket, don't engage in a brawl, single shots maybe in the... I think he can just jab. Just keep jabbing, jab. Yeah, mix up some combos, of course. Don't just get predictable with it. But I think Pantoja, the way he moves forward, he's going to leave his chin out. He's going to leave himself with no defense, and I think Erceg can land a lot of good shots here, man. A lot of people are going to look at that Alexander Acosta fight and say, well, he's got a similar sort of style to Pantoja, which I do sort of see what people are saying, but I feel like Costa is a much better anti-grappler in my opinion. I feel like he's more powerful. Obviously, Pantoja is better, got better jiu-jitsu than him. But I just think Costa matches up a lot better for him. I feel like that's a harder matchup for Erceg, just because he's younger. He's a fucking athletic specimen as well. That guy's just super athletic. Looking at him, I think his chin's not as good as Pantoja. I feel like Pantoja gets away with a lot of things because he's got a granite chin. We've seen Erceg hurt Alexandro Costa. We've seen him hurt him. He got hurt by Albazi. So we know he's not as durable as Pantoja, but he is a very athletic fucking specimen. Let's just say that. And I think he was a tougher matchup for Steve Erceg. They're very similar though, so maybe he can sort of implement the same game plan. But I just think Steve Erceg's going to get this one done. I think his striking's much cleaner. Yes, I think Pantoja is going to keep trying to take him down over and over again. But I think the scrambling of Steve Erceg will really be good for him here. He has good scrambles. I think he's going to get the back a few times in this fight. Maybe he can get a rear naked choke in. I think I can just see, I can picture it in my mind, a gassed out Pantoja shooting in, Steve Erceg taking the back, flattening him out and trying to get that rear naked choke on him. But yeah, I'm going Steve Erceg in this fight by decision over Alejandro Pantoja. And I think he's going to shock the fucking world. Let's fucking go. But anyway, that's my prediction. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below. Who you taking? You taking Pantoja or you taking Erceg? But yeah, that's all I've got to say. So thank you so much for watching. I haven't made a video like this in a while, but I'm confident, man. I'm confident. I just think he's going to get this one done. So yeah, that's my prediction. Thank you so much for listening. I did one for Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling when I was really confident Sterling was going to shock him. And I'm real confident Steve Erceg's going to shock the world here. So thank you for watching. Like I said, let me know your prediction. Share this video, like this video. Come back and clown me in a week if I'm wrong. But yeah, I got Steve Erceg. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.